Perk, and I'm going to let some other people jump in here too. I'm going to bring it back to Jayson Tatum. We saw him play so inconsistently throughout this year. Bunch of turnovers some nights, struggle to shoot other nights, and just, as a whole, struggle to lead this team. And we've talked about the makeup of this team. Are they coachable? Can they be a consistent group? Can they get past 500? And you were a guy who was able to break through to him. You guys chatted on the phone. He took your criticism to heart, and it felt like he made some switch ups here in April that have brought him back to that All NBA level. What do you guys talk about, and what do you think has changed for him this month?
Well, I mean, our conversation, I got a lot of respect for JT. He is beyond. He has an old soul, like my grandparents used to say. He is not your average youngster. He's very mature, and he called me, and it wasn't no beef or no fussing or fighting. He just asked me, "Perk, man, I'm sitting up here, I'm averaging this, I'm doing this." I said, "JT, first of all, let me tell you, man, I've been one of your biggest fans. I just expect more." And what I broke it down to him is I said, "I just see you settling for jumpers when I feel like you could be getting to the free throw line. When you're driving downhill, no one could stop you. I feel like when you settle for those sidestep 3-point jump shots, you're building the defense out. Although you may hit some, I get that you're so talented, but we all have to remember that when the media in the world mentions Jayson Tatum, they mention Jayson Tatum, Zion Williamson, Luka Doncic, Devin Booker, all the young stars that are under the age of 25. So with that being said, is that I have high expectations for Jayson Tatum. I wouldn't have never called him out if I didn't think he could elevate his game even more. And like I told him, I'm on record plenty of times saying that Jayson Tatum is that dude. Like, is one of the best scorers in the game today. And so when he has those droughts, when he don't put up those 40s and 50s, people are like, "Come on now, Perk. People averaging 25 and they sleep right now." And that's true. So I knew Jayson Tatum had it in him. And I wasn't calling him out to say, or try to be disrespectful. I'm just like up it even more because I was watching his body language on the floor, when he wasn't getting calls, and he still don't get calls like he should. But I was watching him hang his head, complain to the ref, not sprint back on defense. And what people have to realize is that that's contagious, okay? Like, if role players and other guys see their superstars doing that, they gonna think it's okay for them to do that. Now you have a whole team full of guys that have bad body language and not getting back in transition, which has been one of the Celtics' weakest points on the defensive end, is not getting back in transition. So with that being said, man, he responded like a true professional. And like I said, I gave him props when props was due. I said, "Hey, you responded like you were supposed to. We know you're a young king, a young superstar. Keep doing it."
Perk, I'm glad to hear you say that because we talked about that a lot. And like the body language thing, that's a real, it's nice to hear that a player would say that that is a real thing. Some people think that's a media driven narrative. It's like looking at somebody's body language. But again, with Tatum, the turnaround from the point that you talk to him is noticeable. And I think that has to help pick up some of the younger guys. You got a lot of guys on this team right now that if your leader is sulking, it's going to be hard for them to put their best foot forward. Jimmy, I wanted to see if you wanted to say anything here before we open up to the rest of the chat.
Yeah, kind of almost playing off what Perk just said. I mean, Perk, you were on some unreal teams in Boston. You guys had the Ubuntu going pretty strong for a few years there. So you know what it is to be on a tight-knit team and a team that's like a brotherhood. And I know you've been on a lot of other teams too. Do you see that with this Celtics team and over not just this season, but the last couple seasons? I don't know if you sense like the closeness between them, like they are like kind of brothers, or do you think there's too much of a disconnect amongst themselves to take it to that next level where the great teams go?
Well, one thing you could always see is that the eyes will never lie, right? The eye test. And a team that's together, you could see when you're not on the floor, right? When you're not on the floor and your teammates are out there having success and balling out of control, just look at the bench. If the bench is up going crazy, then it's chemistry there. If someone is on fire and you're on the court with them and they may make a shot and you happen to be the one that yelled and screamed for them, like, yeah, it's chemistry there. If a guy falls on the floor or gets fouled and one of your teammates is down and you see four guys sprinting to help him up, it's chemistry there. So it ain't rocket science. And to be honest, I didn't see that chemistry there 2 months ago. I see it there now. I see guys up and cheering. I see guys diving on the floor. I see guys sprinting, helping the helper. And I'm gonna say this: Tristan Thompson has been phenomenal for what he's brought to the table for his tenacity. You know what you're going to get out of him night in and night out. And I get it. Every now and then he gets outside of his body, right? He tries to attack from the high post and go in and out. He tries to do things that a lot of people be like, no, Tristan, just go pick and roll. But one thing about it, he's going to get you those extra possessions. He's going to bring that edge. He's like that big brother, just like we saw against Phoenix, the end of the game. He was ready to fight. That's the type of leader you want. That's a guy you want to go to war with that knows he's going to bring it on the court and he got your back 110%.
Yeah, post COVID, like since that COVID layoff for Tristan, I think this is the best version they've seen of him all season long.
Well, you know what's interesting, John, is that's another guy who got called out in the media. And Perk called out Tatum. Smart heard what we were saying about him here on this program, and I find that has to be different than when you played, Perk. I mean, like, you guys weren't on your phones all the time. You didn't even have social media the way it is now, and it feels like a lot of guys get that criticism through social media. Did you guys hear outside criticism as much when you were playing?
Well, I actually embraced outside criticism because it motivated me. KG used to always tell me and Rondo when we had good games, he was like, "All right, now you see how y'all running to go look at NBA TV and Sports Center because y'all had some good numbers. When y'all had the bad numbers, make sure y'all go do the same. Use that as motivation." That always stuck with me. So I always wanted to hear the negative things because I always wanted to be that guy to prove people wrong. So when I was getting heat, or I might have got heat for someone saying, "Man, Perk was horrible at defending the pick and roll." I would lose sleep that night, and I would be like, "All right, bet that next game I'm gonna show you what's up." You know what I mean? So, but now I think it's getting a little bit out of control. Towards the end of my career, I remember I was on the Pelicans and I would walk in the locker room at halftime, and guys were literally scrolling on their phones, like literally scrolling on their phones on social media. And I'm sitting up here looking like, man, are y'all serious right now? And I mean, it's just part of it. It's right there.